Welcome to Bears in Exile. Today is Thursday, May the 2nd, and this is a quick hit on the indexes. So, we had a huge move up today, something that I was concerned about based on the SPY depth of volume that we looked at last night, and it turned out to be the case. So, with the major move up today, most people are saying, alright, well then it's all over. The Bears have lost, the Bulls have won, we're just going higher until, we don't. That very well may be the case, but today actually opened up a whole plethora of different options that are just absolutely intriguing. So without further ado, I'll go through those real fast. So here we are with the Dow, up 130 points. Still getting over my surgery, so I don't sound too hot, but very, very nice move up. But there's a couple of problems with this. For one, we did not exceed yesterday. So we have resistance right here. And just above it we have resistance right here. And we should have some resistance also with the tails here. So there's all kinds of resistance. Big deal, right? We should be able to just gap over those, and that's not a problem. That is, in my opinion, the Bulls' best option at this time. Even though I hate gaps. But that would be the Bulls' path of least resistance would be to jump over this. And it is entirely possible. Indicator-wise, do we have a cross on the MACD yet? No, we do not. We are moving up on the CCI. It is getting to the 100 line problem. We are mixed on the stochastics. The fast is going down, the slow is going up. Very strange. 14-day RSI moving average is leveling out. It is not ticking down. It is not ticking up. So, yeah, not too much to say except that we have all kinds of resistance here. 60-minute time frame. Did we expend all of our energy getting to potentially a lower high? You can see on the 60, the highs, they are descending. Depends on if it turns here or not. We don't know if it's going to. Stochastics are still high. The CCI is trying to go down. The RSI is trying to go down. The MACD histogram are still trying to go up. And the 14-day RSI moving average kind of leveling out, but not traveling up. Matter of fact, I think it'd be a resumption of the down move would seem likely to me, but there's just not enough information at this time. We don't have a really good topping area in the heat map yet. So could this continue to go up? Yes. Does it look like it is a straight shot, like it has all kinds of breathing room? Absolutely not. Now the SPX is where all the really interesting stuff is. So I'm going to go there now. And this is the really interesting one. Really interesting one. We do have a topping blip in the heat map once again. Obviously, it's been doing that for extended periods of time. So not to look at that and get too happy. But here's the interesting part. We made a new high today. So, yeah, you could, I guess, finagle this and say, oh, it's going to be a double top. We have 2 days, with a closing price very similar to one another. I'm not a huge fan of that. It'd have been great if we hadn't pierced it. Maybe even that's a little bit of a stretch. Even then, you'd have to move down a little bit to get it to line up with this tail. It just is a little bit messy for me. The important part is that you did get a new high today, even if it wasn't Maybe it was a closing high by a tiny fraction, but this is actually very good for the bears. Very good for the bears. For one, with a new high, we now have even greater negative divergence on the MACD histogram. That is absolutely true as of today. We now have even greater negative divergence on the RSI. That is confirmed as of today. We now have new negative divergence confirmed on the stochastics, both the fast and the slow, as of today. And we now have even more negative divergence on the CCI in the daily as of today. That's huge. That's all of them. All of them. So very, very good news for the bears. And they're probably, kicking themselves and jumping out of the windows and, going berserk. But this was actually a really good day for them. And I don't see these going up and busting out those negative divergences. I really don't. I suppose it's possible, but I don't see it. Beyond that, what else do we have? Well, sad to say, for the bears, everything can't be peaches and cream for the indicators. The 14-day RSI moving average did tick up today. Did tick up. So that is definitely different. We haven't had a tick up now in, a month? So there's that for the bulls. And in the 60-minute time frame, are we out of room like the Dow? Or getting out of room? With the 14-day RSI moving average ticking sideways on the 60-minute. It has all this room to move to the downside if it decided to go there. We can see the barely new high today, beating all of these other highs. So the bulls could also look at this and say, well, we have ascending highs. So we have to be going higher. All that would be required would be another higher low. That is completely true. We can see the position of the CCI, the stochastics, very high. They do need to come down. And we have a tick down on the RSI. We have barely up on the MACD histogram. This seems to be on fumes. It sure does. So the question at this point becomes, on the next leg down on the stochastics and the CCI and the RSI, how far down can it go? We can assume that it would hold this low right here. But if it were to break, it's actually this low is not the one that's really important. It's this one. And that is, let's see here, that is about 1577. So if we break out 1582, we should have 1577 tested. 1577 test fails. And it gets really ugly. And it goes way down here to 1540 roundabout. So we'll see. I don't have, super confidence about 1582 being broken, but we'll see what happens. It does need a move down in the 60. And going on to the VIX. Now the VIX had a poor day, down just over 6%. And we were saying last night with the nice move up, the question would have been, can it get to the 200-day? Can it do anything with the 200-day? And obviously, the 200 is not in the cards at the moment. But, take heart, bears. The VIX is still doing pretty darn awesome, if you ask me. For one, it took a big hit, and yet it still has not broken any of these previous lows. Hasn't even challenged them. It's still above last month's major price consensus level, although it did close below this new month's major price consensus level. So kind of push-pull there, but really I think that these levels from last month are still massively important. Beyond that, bottoming area in the heat map once again, even though it has closed higher. So just like these levels, same reading, and it is higher. Not bad. On the downside, most things are pointing down. Downtick on the 14-day RSI moving average, down on the stochastics, down on the CCI, down on the RSI, down on the MACD histogram, down on the MACD. That is a really bad confluence for the VIX, but we'll see how it does. I mean, it was able to hold this line even with the move down in the stochastics and essentially everything this last month. So, but if it does break these levels, which is absolutely critical, I would imagine that it would come down here and fill this remaining gap. I think that if it breaks these levels, it'll be waterfall and just come tumbling down out of space. So good things, potential bad things, we'll see. Going on to IWM, the small caps. And you'll notice that IWM is totally different. Totally different. Small caps should be in the lead. Obviously they are not. This is an inside day, potentially bearish. It is a fat body spinning top, which did not get to the major price consensus level from last month, and it did not get to the upper price consensus level for this month. This definitely should be way up here if everything is to be believed, and we have seen it do a lot of catch-up moves in the last month and 2 months. So is it possible that it runs up here? Yes, it is. Indicator-wise, does this look pretty good? Not especially. I mean, there's room to move on the CCI. The stochastics are in disagreement. The big one, the 14-day RSI moving average, is in ascent with all kinds of room to move. We're moving up on the RSI, the MACD, and the MACD histogram, but position and candle, not that great. Not that great. Matter of fact, I would be very interested in wanting to see the 60 minutes, so I'll pull that up for a second and see how much energy was expended on this move. As you can see, we have descending highs. They are not perfectly, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just a 1 and a 2. But what do we have? Well, we still have the CCI in ascent. It is very close to the 100. We have the fast stochastic trying to descend. We have the slow still in ascent. The 14-day RSI moving average in descent along with the RSI. And MACD histogram are up. Kind of a mess. But if it can turn low once again, which is entirely possible based on these, it could get ugly really fast, because then we would be expecting another lower low. It's very interesting. And going on to SPY to look at our volume information and finish off the evening. Here it becomes more apparent with the new recent high. And just like SPX, negative divergence, negative divergence, negative divergence, negative divergence, negative divergence. Problem. Doesn't mean it has to be tomorrow, but problem. And our volume information. Still in the danger area for the dual volume flow, which did not turn yet, which is kind of surprising. Unbalanced volume ticking up once again. Getting right to the line on the volume weighted MACD and not passing. Very strange. Still ticking up, of course, on the accumulation distribution. It's just so darn funny. When this one finally ticks down, I'll probably have a heart attack. I mean, and volume price trend actually going sideways. So this is very strange to me that it wasn't able to trigger any new greens today. Very strange indeed. If these are turned away at the trigger lines tomorrow, it'll probably be a really decent move to the downside. And a lot of people would say, oh, we have a new high. We're going to the moon. Well, it's possible. I mean, maybe we could have all these triggered green tomorrow, and then it'll just be a huge move to the upside. But boy, this sure looks like tomorrow is going to be a heavy hitter one way or the other, based on these. Very interesting. And that's it. As always, all investing decisions are your own. This is John video for entertainment, educational, and consumption of time purposes only. Thank you.